Y'all ready to train? I missed yesterday because I couldn't sleep. Just didn't wake up. Spirit says train first. So I can't play this unless I'm in balance. Right here and here. So it's an ever-present thing. The conflict, right? The inner conflict. The cat's getting pretty old and cantankerous. Yeah, so to let go of the past. Everyone's carrying a lot of trauma, and who feels it knows it. There's no comparison of whose trauma is more acute or more severe. But if we're all walking around like that, then we can't be our highest and best self. And so this is, it works on the inner conflict, and we'll clear it, right? Because you have to let go of it in order to actually do the training. So it's not just for your body. It does strengthen your joints and your ligaments, right? It's probably counterintuitive to think of it that way, but yeah, it's like ligament training and your fascia, right? Because your fascia is this, covers your whole body, and it's one piece of one thing, and it can get all twisted, and then your body is twisted. So it untwists it, but it's like this conscious, unconscious. Like, because when you're in the struggle and you're fighting it, when you're doing the standing, and you start fighting it, right? You can't, right? It's still working, because that's what you're there to do. But when you let go, right, that's when the twist undoes. Like, it's almost instantaneous, and you have to let go of your struggle. And that's kind of like letting go of the past. So I have to let go of the past, but some of these poems I wrote, all of them actually in the past, so it's kind of a way of burning them. I have to write new ones. It's time to write new ones. So I put you on the list of the things I want. The list is long, and it's grand. So grand that if one item is crossed off, they all are. If one item on the list is achieved, then all other items must also have been. I put you on my list. There's this color up there. It rained again last night. Yesterday there was a concert in Seco, George Porter, from the Funky Meters, right there in Little Seco. But it was gonna rain, and it was almost like all of the concert goers were like, fuck, it better not fucking rain. And so it kind of just didn't, and then later it did. And now we have this, well, it's going to clear up today, it looks like, but there's this cloud layer, and the sun is going to make some crazy colors right there. It's not picking up. It almost looks copper right now. I don't know if you can see that, but in a minute it's going to get crazy. I don't know why. Yeah, you don't need to hear this. Right? That's what Lee used to think, right? That it was too late. And I would always tell him, it's never too late. And this, my dad, and he built in a writing desk on every floor of his house. And never wrote the book. But those desks will never leave. It's a constant reminder to do the thing, right? Let go of your past, let go of how hard you think it's going to be. And just do it. Let go of thinking of you're not ready. Right? I know you guys as artists just do that already, but have you let go? I don't think so. But yeah, do the thing and you get better. Let go. It's instantaneous. And so that's why I'm doing this. And I'm at the 41 subscribers on YouTube. I only need 9 more. And I'll be doing this over there. Because as you may remember me saying, I need 50 subscribers to go live on YouTube. And I think that's that's the plan right now, is to do these lives and to build it, and with with the acausal intent, right, of being the effect that creates the cause, right, ever-present origin. So we can return to our true nature and stop trying to fix the system with the system, because we can't do that. That's impossible, right? It's self-reference, right? You just end up with the same shit over and over and over again. And that was what Einstein was saying, right? When he said we can't solve our problems with the same thinking that created the problems. And so anything out there, right, this is the only thing, right, that isn't trying to do that. Everyone out there is fucking trying to solve the problem with the same thinking. And, when you wake up and you can see, it's, that's what drags us down. Like those of us who can see, we look around at our peers and we're like, motherfuckers. Fucking Jesus Christ. How many times, man? How many motherfucking times does it take, do we have to learn the hard way? And, as a collective too, just look at history. It's Groundhog Day over and over. We wake up, do the same routine, think it's going to be different, and then we wake up the next day and it's the same day again. So tell your friends, fucking subscribe, because we're going to be the effect, right? We're going to, it's ever-present origin. It's already here. There's nothing to be done. There's nothing to fix. We're perfect. But the urgency is that we let go of the past. Let go of the past. Good morning. And that's the episode called Self-Reference on the podcast. If you haven't listened to it, then please do, because it actually, it's my own discovery, this inner discovery of having accumulated a lot of knowledge and then reflected upon it and understanding, right, key elements, right. When I first started, I was of the notion, right, and I have been since probably, I was a kid, that this can be fixed, right, that there's something that can be done. And I was banging my head against the wall this whole time, right, and so I've let go of that approach and realized that the approach is to just that, let go of the past, because thinking is the past. The only way we can have thoughts is through our experiences, right? And it's not abandoning yourself, right? It's actually allowing your uppercase I to arrive. And so in our culture, we want to hang on to our sense of self, and that someone's got to lose in order for someone to win. And so, as I was saying, I started this out as okay, I can see what the infrastructure could be in order to permit everyone, to facilitate everyone living, right? And that just adds to the value, the pool of value, right? Is everyone living just creates more value, right? And an ever-increasing supply doesn't work for the supply and demand model of value, right? So when there's an infinite supply, how do you mark the price on that shit? So that's the way we have to think of value. And it's not being naive about the number of resources available on the earth, right? It's that we have the ability to manage that, right, without this hoarding of material. And then, when you talk about it, when I talk about it and I listen to myself, it sounds like, and this is what I talk about in the episode called Self-Reference on the podcast, greenknight.green, GREENKNIGHT.green, is that if you are criticizing it, then you automatically have a red flag come up. If you're criticizing the system, right? Because, you must be upset because it's not working for you. And it's not working for any of us, right? Even those of us who are rolling, right? Those guys are probably the worst perpetrators of keeping the system going, right? Because they're like, you can do what I did. You can do what I did. But what I was getting at is that they're the sources of value, right? Because we're physical beings and need to eat and drink water, and we need shelter and clothing and communication and energy and transportation. All of those things I just mentioned are owned by one group of people. All of the sources of value are owned, right, by one group of people. And so that's not natural. That's not how we were before all this went down, before civilization was invented. Quote, this civilization, because we think this is the only one, right? But previous to this abomination, there was something that was actually in rhythm and in alignment with nature, and we fell, right? We fell down all the way, and we continue to fall, and we don't learn from those scrapes and bruises, that manifest as death and mayhem and suffering and loss. That's what revalues supply and demand, right? Because if you facilitate living, you add to the supply, and it's an infinite supply of value. But with supply and demand, you need that supply to be diminished, right? So that everyone is demanding their portion of it, right? And if there's only one group of people that owns the supply, right, which is these sources of value, then they can charge an exorbitant price, right? And we'll fucking pay it. We'll accept the offer. And that's the fucking bullshit right there. We have to, en masse, not accept the offer, right? So what we see going on around us right now, right, the supply chain being diminished, shelves on the grocery store, some of them being empty, the price of fucking gas, blah, 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 right? It's all to drive us, right, towards the solution that they're going to offer us, right, which is this, don't get me started on batteries, right, because it's just shunting the energy load onto a different material. It's so fucking stupid. And it's like, oh, but the carbon load, right, the carbon footprint. It's like, well, you're being fooled on that one too, and I'm sorry, right, if you don't get it. I'm sorry, right? Look up the paper that Richard Feynman wrote in '76 about atmospheric warming, right? That's the guy who figured out why the Challenger blew up and the O-rings. I don't know if you remember that story. He stepped up to the podium and everyone's like waiting to hear what he's going to say, and he fucking dips a fucking O-ring, right, on the booster rocket. The O-rings failed, right? Dips it in liquid nitrogen and then hits it on the podium and it shatters, and then he walks off. Right? This guy has credibility, if there is anyone who has credibility, right? And I'm sorry if it hurts, right, that you've been reducing your carbon footprint and recycling and driving a Prius and patting yourself on the back like you're going to hipster heaven. You're not doing a goddamn thing. Just driving this thing forward. We can manage the resources that we have, right? And we don't need these elite spawn to do it for us and then charge us crazy amounts of cash to get access. Are you following? Right? Does this make sense? This whole thing is bullshit. And so that's why we do this, right? To break down our inner conflict, so we realize we know ourselves, we know who we are, and when we know who we are, we can definitely determine who and what we are not. And that's that apophatic inquiry, right? Which is you become closer to God, right? I use that word, but I'm not from a religious background, but you become closer to God when you negate all of the aspects of what we are not. And so you can definitely, maybe we can't say exactly what we are, but you can definitely fucking say what we aren't. Right? And we aren't this bullshit that's going on all around us. So that's why we do this training, to break down that inner conflict, right? And then we can operate from a position of compassion, right? From a position of service. If you, like if one, right, is trying to get yours before someone else gets it, right? That's the problem right there. That's the adversarial mode of operation. And you could say that's everything. That's the whole problem, right? But think of in a hunter-gatherer situation, right? You make sure your squad is okay, and then you're okay, right? You're not in competition, right? In a group like that, where you're navigating the savannah and making tools, and right? If that group is in competition, right, then it fails. It eats itself, right? So we had to actually arrive at a place, right, as a species, right, where there was enough of the population in order for this false rhythm, false reality, false polarity to be placed upon us, because that's what we're doing, right? That's the, we are eating ourselves, right, in order to move forward. And that is what the Ouroboros symbol means, right? We think it's some kind of grand spiritual symbol. It's basically in our face, you're fucking eating yourself, and you're gonna run out of tail. So we're arriving at that point right now, where our the adversarial mode of operation is incompatible with our level of technology. So I kind of repeat myself, but it's starting to sink in. Then good, and tell your friends to subscribe. Right? You want to fucking train? You want to be badass? Then do the thing, right? And then we can collectively be badass, the most badass possible. And you're not an individual without the collective. There's no individual in a vacuum, right? You're not Major Tom sitting in a tin can, right? And the planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. There's no relationship in that situation. The only reason you are who you are is the relationship with others and the surroundings. Right, motherfucker? I'm talking to you. If you think you got it figured out and you pitched your tent, right, the wind's gonna blow your tent down the fucking mountain. Never fucking pitch your tent. Always keep going up. Anyway, I started to get pissed there for a second. So, yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just put quotes around my name, Birch Driver, on YouTube, and it's the first thing on the list. Just hit subscribe, and we can be the effect that creates the cause, right? Retrocausality, so that we rewrite the code of the universe, right? And what we are always meant to be was ever present, and we just have to turn it on, right? Ever-present origin. Know thyself. Break down the inner conflict. Let go of the past. And, on closing, right? I'm not fucking, right? I'm not saying this from a superior position, right? There's no superior position, right? There is no hierarchy. There is no stratification, right? That's all in your fucking mind, right? The only one you're competing with is yourself. And, right? And that's how you can actually approach any situation and conquer it. And so, for me, my passion, right, has been since a little kid to do the impossible. Always, right? Always. And the impossible is to save ourselves from ourselves. That's what it seems like. It's impossible, but we're already fucking there. It's already here. It's like that, man. Fucking flip the switch. Shoot the moon. Right? Listen to the Shooting the Moon episode. Right? If you've ever played hearts, right, you get a good hand. The good hand is actually the worst hand, right? Because you have all of the hearts. And so you make a decision in the beginning to shoot the fucking moon, which is to take all the tricks, right? Right? In hearts, you don't want to take the tricks. You don't want hearts in your fucking tricks. You want to take the tricks clean of hearts. But if you shoot the moon, you want all the hearts, right? But you got to keep that a secret until the end. And then when you start fucking throwing down those cards, everyone looks around and is like, oh, motherfuck, he's shooting the moon. And there's nothing that can be done to stop you. We have to do that collectively, right? And then these elite fucking spawn of fucking, they're like not even people, right? That own the sources of value, right? They will be suddenly left without any way to feed themselves, right? We can't fight them. Fighting them legitimizes them, right? Fighting anything does. You can spar as a way, as entertainment and a way to train, but that's something different. Anyway, it's not me, right? I'm not saying this. This is just coming through. And, right, I put you on the list, right, of things that are impossible to fucking pull off, and we can do it. So subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends to subscribe. They don't have to do anything. Say, just do me a favor, man. Go to YouTube, search Birch Driver, BURCHDRIVER, in quotes, right? That's how you use a search engine. Right? You put it in quotes and it forces the search engine to look for just that combination of letters, right? And I'll be first on the list. And you just hit subscribe, right? I only need 9 more subscribers, and then fucking it's gonna go off. Alright, y'all? So, do the thing. And, sorry I missed yesterday. Shit happens sometimes.